Hello, lovely student. Welcome to Lesson 4 on the section User-Defined Methods. Today we're going to be looking at an activity on procedures. The activity entails: write a procedure called palindrome that receives a word as a parameter and checks if the word is a palindrome. If it is a palindrome, your program must display on the memo is a palindrome. Otherwise, display not a palindrome. On the T button, your caption should be palindrome. Write code to do the following: extract the word from the edit box, and then call the procedure on the palindrome button. So firstly, you're going to enter a word using the edit box. I've created a memo for you to do the display. You are going to write a user-defined procedure in the private section of your form. Remember 3 things to do: declare your procedure, define your procedure via coding, and lastly, on your button palindrome, call your procedure. I would like you to now pause this video, launch Delphi, and write the program. Only refer to the solution if you are encountering any particular problems. I wish you well on this activity. So let's take a look at the solution. The first step was to declare your procedure. Let's go and have a look at that. So there's your declaration for your procedure. It always starts with a keyword procedure, followed by the name of the procedure, and then this is a parameterized procedure. It's bringing in a value, a string value, as a parameter. Control Shift and C will take you to the framework of the procedure. So there's the framework of your procedure. Remember, I'm bringing in a value, which is a variable being brought in as a parameter. The variable is of data type string. The variable that you bring in is the variable that you're going to be using in your procedure. When this procedure is called, some input will be done either by the user or reading from a text file, but an input will be sent as an argument to the procedure when the procedure is being called. So don't really worry at this stage when you're bringing in a value, where is this value coming from? Remember, when it is called, some input would be done. So all this procedure is doing, it's taking the word, it's reversing the word, and then it's checking if the original word is equal to the reversed word. If it matches, then we're displaying a message. If it doesn't match, we're displaying it is not a palindrome. So words that are palindromes are like mum, dad. Okay, so let's take a look at what it is. So I've created a variable called sReverse, data type string, to actually reverse the word. And then I is my loop counter. I set the variable to the null string, so it will allow me to perform an accumulation of each character in the string. I've cleared my memo so I can do many test cases. And the first step, I'm running my loop. A for loop performs fixed repetition from the length of the word, which means I'm starting from the last character of the word. I'm using a down to loop, so the loop will go from the end of the word going down to the beginning of the word, to the first character. And index 1 will be the first character of the word. So if you had to look at the word mum, it will start from the last character, which is M, and it will go down to the first character, which is also the character M, if it is a palindrome. So I've used my accumulation technique to reverse the word, and each time I'm getting each character starting from the end of the word, going backward. I'm extracting each character in an accumulation technique. I'm then checking, once I've accumulated each character of the word, there's your for loop structure, and it will start when I is at the end of the for loop and end the loop when I is at the beginning of the word. Out of the for loop, I'm then checking in an if statement if the original word is equal to the reversed word. Note I'm using uppercase. Uppercase is used with strings only, and it will convert the word that is entered and check a particular case, so that if I entered characters or small letters, it will match case for case. If the original word is equal to the reversed word, and if this entire condition evaluates to true, then it will display is a palindrome. If the condition evaluates to false, it will go into the else statement and display is not a palindrome. So the last step is to now call this procedure. Let's now take a look at the button, double click, and now let's look at how we call this procedure. So the procedure palindrome was written, but remember, a procedure has no value if it is not invoked or called. So let's look at how we call it. So I created a variable called sword because I need to extract the word from the t-edit. I then called my procedure palindrome. This procedure, the formal parameter brought in was 1. The data type was string. So when I'm calling it, I must call it. The argument must contain 1 parameter of data type string. So the word that I'm entering, I'm getting from the t-edit, I'm sending as an argument to the procedure palindrome. So when this procedure is called, the program starts running from here. From this button click, the program starts running. When this procedure is called, it's sending an argument which is a string value, and that is the word. That word is then mapped onto this formal parameter. It then goes to this procedure, it executes this code. Always remember, the word that we're bringing in is the word that we actually used in our procedure. It executes this code, and then it goes into the next step, and all I did was clear my t-edit and set my focus back to my t-edit. Now let's look at how the program works. Let's run it. Okay, so let's enter a word. I'm going to enter mum. Is a palindrome. Let's enter another word. Dad is a palindrome. Let's enter a word that is not a palindrome. And note I'm going to use mixed characters. Okay. Is not a palindrome. So by testing it and checking your case, you then allow the user to enter any case, and it will match case for case. I hope you enjoyed this activity. I need you to know the technique of this activity in order to proceed to the next activity. Thank you for listening. Stay motivated, stay inspired, and follow me on my next activity.